24 years ago, I wrote a note. And I've had it for the last 24 years. And now seems the appropriate time to share that note. I've never read this note to anyone. I have alluded to the contents of it, but I've never actually read it out loud to anyone else. But I'm going to do that now. You'll know why when I read it. I put a trigger warning at the start of the video, and I'll just remind everyone now that I may discuss certain sensitive topics in this video. And if that's too much for you to handle, then please click off the video right now. But for the rest of you, let's begin. Now, I wrote this particular note 24 years ago to the day, 3rd of October. It's very private. It's something I've clung to. It's something I've occasionally looked at in my darkest moments, even in my happiest moments, just to remind myself what everything is for, what I've been doing for the last 24 years. So here goes. I'm going to read the note now. I would say I hope you enjoy, but it's really not that kind of note. So here goes. Special thanks to my good friend David for inspiring me to write this. Watching him struggle has put a lot into perspective. I've struggled too, and quite frankly, knowing that I'm going to have to struggle for the rest of my life is unacceptable. So I thought it might be prudent to put some things to paper. Call them targets, call them aspirations, but I'll probably call them goals. You see, there's certain things I want from my life, and if I can't have them, if I can't attain them, then, quite frankly, I don't want a life. I do think, though, it's important to set a realistic deadline for these goals of mine. At first, I wanted to write here that if I didn't achieve everything I want by the time I'm 21, then, well, you can probably imagine. But that only gives me 5 years from now, 2 of which I'll still be in school. Then, I considered by the time I'm 30. After all, that should give me plenty of time. Surely I can be happy by then. God, I had better be. But no. I have decided that the deadline will be just before my 40th birthday. 11:59 to be precise. If I can't have what I want by then realistically, I never will. And I can't bear the thought of still being unfulfilled in 23 bloody years. No. No. 2025 it is. 2025 is my deadline. If I can't have what I want by then, well, you can imagine. So what do I want? Well, let's start with what I don't want. I don't want a job. I can't bear the thought of some 9-to-5 monotonous rubbish. What I want is a career in the theatre. I've recently been working with an Australian chap on a musical, and I've decided that my life must be in that. In writing theatre, in performing theatre. I want a show in the West End of London. Or on Broadway. Or in Germany. In fact, anywhere. And not just one show, or 2 shows, or 3 shows. I want 20 goddamn shows. I don't actually care where or how, just so long as that is how I make my living. A small side note here, this is not part of the notes, but obviously at this time I hadn't discovered YouTube yet. I was very much addicted to video games, but I hadn't, at this point, in 2001, decided that I would also attempt to become a YouTuber. So, I'm just putting that in there as a small aside. Right, back to the notes. And I want a nice house. Or even an apartment. Oh, and a wife too. Someone who loves me. Not Claire, obviously. She's too good for me. Way out of whatever my league is. No, I want that precise career. And I want love. That can't be too much to ask for, can it? After all, we all deserve to be comfortable. No, to be happy. The last 16 years of my life, I've been anything but happy. Yes, I have had some lovely times. Movies, video games, performing. But that cannot be my life. I need to be able to support myself and my partner, whoever they may end up being. £5,000 a month should do it. Now you might be wondering how I came up with that figure. It's what my father earns. Yes, this is another aside. I did indeed write father instead of dad. That's not too much to ask, is it? But I will never, ever settle. This is what I want. And if I can't have it, well, I don't need to think about that. Because it will happen. I'll have whatever I want. So, 11:59 PM on the 26th of November 2025. It's so long away. So, hopefully everything works out. And if it doesn't, well, I won't be able to talk about 2026 because I'll have failed. And like I say, that's not an option. Then we have some crude doodling at the bottom of the note. So there you have it. I wrote that 23 years ago. And if anything, I am more firm in my conviction that I had at that time now. The only difference is, in the preceding 23, 24 years, none of that has become a reality. Yes, I have done shows. Yes, they have been incredibly unsuccessful. Yes, I'm incredibly disappointed by so much to do with them. Be it family not attending, friends not attending. I have fallen out with family over it. I have definitely fallen out with friends over it. My friend group has, since 2001, gradually dwindled. Most of it happened in the last 10, 15 years when I started to become sick of the company I was in, and my morals and my just what I want to get out of life just didn't align with the rest of them. So I have sadly found myself pretty much on my own in terms of, if we're talking a friends group. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming other people. I have alienated, ostracized many people since I left school. Many. Either through my own mental state, my over-drinking, my paranoia, falling out with people who didn't come to see my shows, haven't come to see my shows as much as I would like. This is not a blame game. And if it is, most of the blame will lie with me. I'm a disappointment. And this video is not for people to leave comments saying, you're not a disappointment. This video was simply for me to read my notes and to tell you where I'm at. And where I'm at is not great. It is the 3rd of October 2025. My 40th birthday is steadily approaching, and over the last year, 2 years, 3 years, knowing that I've had this note and that date, I can't stress this enough, people may not believe this, but that date and that time has been in my mind since the day I left school. So every time family, my dad mostly, would try to make me get a job, the reason I could never do it is because, I say it in the note, nothing else is good enough. Nothing else could ever be good enough. I just couldn't do it. And without going into far too much detail, but it got to a point with myself trying to have conventional employment where we don't have to, we should not go into all of that, but let's just say that story did not end well. It eventually got to a point where I realised taking a conventional job really was a matter of life and death for me. And I'm not too overly keen on the death side of it. So, I've had the same dreams and aspirations since before I left school. Since before I wrote that note. If anything, I have added to it because I added the YouTube side of it, which you would think would make my life a lot easier because you would think, well, now you've got a choice of two careers. No. Both are equally as dismal as each other. No matter what I have tried, no matter what I want out of it, nothing has worked thus far. Now, please. We still have 2 months. A lot could change. Miracles can happen. Perhaps. Maybe. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. But if something is going to happen, it needs to happen bloody fast. Very bloody fast. This year has been particularly awful. Just awful. If you look at the previous video I had on this channel called My Final Video, I go into detail about certain things that I'm choosing to not talk about in this video. But they are very much connected. I just didn't want to read the note at that time in that video because I was worried about the reaction. Now it has got to the point where time is almost up and I don't care. I don't care because I do not care about anything, really. I had set a path, and I get people are going to say life can begin at 40. But to have spent 20 plus years pursuing very specific goals, love, the career, money, none of which I have at this current time. Everything, anytime I ever had what would be called love, I lost it. I don't need to go into the whole what happened 3 years ago. There's plenty of videos on the channel if people want to go find out what happened there, but that was the breaking of me. That's where everything started to dawn on me. This may not happen. Because I thought I had the love of my life. I thought we were going to get married. I thought my YouTube would take off and my theatre shows would take off and someone would see one of them. One person would see something and go, get that guy in here. We're going to talk about whatever. A transfer or staging this or having him write this or having him do this. None of that has happened and time is running out. And I want to be really clear about this. When I wrote that note, it wasn't a joke. It was not a joke. It's never a joke. In fact, I have had full-blown arguments with people because when I start to talk about my theatre stuff and writing, and if people don't take it as seriously as I do, I lose it. I can't help myself. But again, that's all going to play into my mental health. So a small mental health update. I am still on medication. Unfortunately, I'm having to now go on stronger medication because, well, just because. We don't have to divulge absolutely everything. But I'm not doing well. That's the best way to put it. I'm still drinking. I'm still causing harm to myself, shall we say, through alcohol and through other things. So I'm going on stronger medication. This week, in fact. I'm very worried because I have to wean off my previous medication over the course of a week, which means I have to stop taking it, which I am incredibly worried about because I'm not good when I don't take my medication. I'm not good when I do take it. To put it into perspective, I don't consider myself to be very stable even when I do take my medication. And I'm not talking about, I'm going to go burn someone's house down or burn my house down or set myself on fire or anything like that. But I'm just not good without my medication. I'm still not travelling. In fact, there was a whole section on the note which I haven't read off where I talk about holidaying constantly. Not constantly, but holidaying every single year. Going to Disneyland. 1 year going to Disneyland Paris. The following year going to Florida. The year after that going back to Paris. Florida. Paris. Florida. You get the gist. Broadway. And that's a big thing that's played into relationships I've had because I have nothing to offer yet. I have absolutely nothing to offer. I can't say, let's go for dinner at this nice place. I've never been able to do that. Never. And as we approach that dreaded date, I'm becoming more and more anxious that I never will. And I can't bear that. I cannot bear that. And I do not want to hear life begins at 40. There is still time. No. I'm far too OCD to have gone through the effort of writing a goddamn note when I was in school. And I was not very different in school as to what I am now. I'm still depressed. It just didn't take on the same symptoms, if you like, that it has now. Where I've had police doing welfare checks, I've had other people doing welfare checks, I've been hospitalised, I'm in therapy, I'm still in therapy, it's not working. That's not me. If anyone is in therapy and it works for them, terrific. It doesn't work for me. Talking about this shit does not work. Because when I finish the session, as I always do, I come off the session and the first thing I do is I start screaming. Because I've accomplished nothing from it. And if anything, I've probably annoyed the therapist. And yes, they're paid to listen to me rant and rave and talk about all of this, talk about theatre stuff constantly. So yes, the alienation, I don't feel love like I used to from people. I would say I've become not a pariah, but someone who probably a lot of people don't want to be around because I make them uncomfortable. I cannot stand social situations anymore. And in fact, the last time I was with even my own family in a social situation, I ran out the house. Because I thought I was going to... I had no idea what I thought I was going to do, but I was going to flip. I was going to start screaming. And it's just too much. Especially when I think that people don't understand. Or don't take me seriously. Or think it will pass. If there's anything I think I've taught anyone, is that none of this is going to pass until I'm gone. Or until I succeed. But of course, even then it won't pass, because if I succeed, that'll be it. That's all I'll be doing. And don't get, please, at times I wish I had said in the note I'd do it by 21. Because I wouldn't have done it by 21, obviously, because I've still not done it now. But at least then, this would all be over. This would be done. I wouldn't have to burden people. I wouldn't have hurt people in ways that I have since I was 21. And before. I'm not a nice... I don't consider myself to be a nice person, and the more that success doesn't come to me, or love doesn't come to me, or the fact I'm not married, or the fact I'm not wealthy and I'm not independent and I really do not know how to be an adult, the more that happens, it kind of... And I do not believe in God. I don't believe in anything remotely like God. But the more that I'm deprived of success and happiness, the more I think this is a punishment. You are being punished for being an arse, or being a dick, or saying certain things to your sister, or for starting a ruckus in front of your family, or from stealing from your dad, or stealing from your mum, or running up debt, or not paying your bills, or choosing theatre and shows over everything else. The more I don't succeed, the more I think I have been cursed, or it's a punishment and it's karma. And the more I start to believe I maybe don't deserve this. But if I don't hang on to that teeny tiny minuscule hope, then I might as well just give up now. And in my last video, the main theme of that was, I was saying that by the end of this year, talking about the year we're in now, I will be one of three things. I will be happy, I will be dead, or I will be committed. And you can bet your ass I still believe that now. Even though we are 3/4 of the way through the year now. I made that video on New Year's Day, I think. I still believe that. I still believe in everything I have wanted to achieve in my life. I still believe that I can do it. The only difference is, no one else believes that. No one has ever believed that, I don't think. There's been many a time I've been told, in good faith, I'm not saying people have done it to be, but I have been almost told, you should give it up. Just give up. You're not going to do this. But the problem is, I set my mind on it. And there is nothing else I wanted to do with my life. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Even if someone came up to me tomorrow and said, come and work for the NHS, let's say, and we'll give you your £5,000 a month that you put in your note there, I couldn't do it. I'm serious. I couldn't do it because I can't stand to be around most people now. I can't bear it. But not just that. The whole point of when in the note I say, oh, £5,000 a month should do it, is because that's £5,000 a month doing what I love. Now, if the £5,000 a month had come from my YouTube, I would be equally as happy. Because I would take that £5,000 a month and I would somehow make the show succeed. But, of course, there's no point in even discussing. I mean, I'm nowhere near. Nowhere near. So why did I make this video? I made this video just to educate, just to put it out there that this has always been the plan. Ever since I was at school. Ever since I was 7 years old and I heard Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom of the Opera on a cassette tape that I borrowed from the library, Cooper Institute Library it was called. 7 years of age I did that. And ever since I heard that, till today, that is all I've ever wanted. 3 very simple things that I thought were very simple things, and they're not, but the career, the money, well, of course, the money, the house, should I say, and love. That's it. 3 things. Affection. And every time I thought I was getting close, I'll go through periods where I'm able to do shows. Now, of course, when I say able to do shows, I mean doing shows at the expense of adulting. Because that's what I had to do. Don't pay the bills for 3 months and do a show. And hope the show makes money and then pay the bills. Very irresponsible. But what was I going to do? Just not do them? And the saddest thing of all, the saddest thing of all is this year I deliberately... How many shows did I book to do this year? 4, I believe. I did 2. They made nothing. They were fun to do, but I booked the second 2 very deliberately. One was to be in August, which we have now passed. That show didn't happen. And the other was to be in November on the very dates I'm talking about. And of course I did that deliberately because I wanted that to either be... I don't know what I wanted it to be, but it was either going to be glorious and a celebration of me turning 40, and hopefully something would come out of that final last-ditch effort to do a show. The sad reality is I ran into a lot of debt this year. I didn't pay my rent, and those 2 shows cannot happen. Now, what no one knows about that is I staked everything on that November show happening. Because as far as I was concerned in my darker moments, I thought that could be the last time I ever do a show. And in not doing that show, it may have... I'm trying to think of a very sensitive way of putting this without worrying people, but in not doing that show, it may have spelled my doom. Let's just put it like that, because it sounds cheesy and less serious than what I actually mean when I say that. And that's a shame. So I really am hoping for a miracle. The time is now 7:17 in the morning. I've been up all night contemplating if I was going to do this video or not. 3rd of October. I will not be making any more videos until... well, I guess you'll find out. End of November, I guess. And wish me luck. If you believe in God, pray for me. If you don't believe in God, keep your fingers crossed. If you don't believe in doing that, then I don't know, friends. I don't think there's anything else I need to go over. There's nothing wrong with having a dream. Maybe I've never gone about things the right way. Maybe I was just made to be a failure. Maybe I was never going to succeed. And that was predestined, fate, destiny, whatever you want to call it. Maybe that's just it. Maybe some people are just going to be endlessly unhappy. But one thing I will guarantee is I will not waste another 40 years, another 23 years, another 13 years. Hell, I won't waste another 3 years. That was my note. That was my small update. Take care, everyone. And goodbye.